Hey everybody, Sarah Baker here with balancedbabe.com and Be Healthful, and we are plugging away with our webinars, and this time around we have a very special guest, Natalie Slater, author and creator of bakeanddestroy.com. So Natalie is a grouchy barista turned journalist turned social media strategist who hates being called a social media guru so much she might explode. She started her career in PR and marketing for low-cost businesses and has gone on to consult everyone from major food corporations to pizza parlors to indie horror movie production companies. Her passion for storytelling and compelling content is evident in both the work she produces for clients and on her website, bakeanddestroy.com, and in her first cookbook, Bake and Destroy, Good Food for Bad Vegans. So Natalie, thank you so much for being here today. And I want to get off by starting, what is the mission behind Bake and Destroy and what caused you to create this brand?
Thanks for having me. So Bake and Destroy's mission is basically to give people access to vegan food without all the judgment. You know, I don't really think that making veganism seem unfriendly or unapproachable does the whole kind of movement of veganism any favors. So to use a very non-vegan sort of euphemism, I think you can catch more flies with honey. So I try to create recipes that anybody would want to make regardless of what they do or don't eat. And I try to keep an open mind and don't fault people for maybe some of their hesitations or some of their misconceptions about vegan food, and just try to be a good resource for people who are curious but maybe not quite committed yet. And you know, it can get a little old kind of explaining over and over that plants do contain protein or that there is life after cheese, but I've found that a friendly approach definitely works a lot better than a militant one. So that's my mission.
Awesome. And so you yourself, how long have you been vegan for?
I've been vegan for a couple years. I kind of had an on-again, off-again sort of relationship with veganism. I was pretty hardcore for a long time, and then I slipped for a little bit. And I've been a vegetarian strictly since I graduated from high school, which is a little longer ago than I care to share necessarily, but it's been a long time. But I've been committed, you know, for the last couple years, and I just think that right now is an excellent time to sort of get into it and stay with it. There are so many amazing options and so many people producing great recipes online, and it's easier than ever.
I definitely agree, and I have to resonate with what you said earlier. I get so many questions on protein. You know, how do you get your protein from plants? And I'm primarily vegetarian, and when I was vegan for a while, that was the #1 question I got, and it was just redundant having to explain it to everybody time and time again, and still they don't believe me. So yeah, we have to prove everybody wrong.
I usually say, you know, I'm relatively small in stature. I'm only 5'2", and I'm pretty small. So I usually explain that elephants are actually vegan, and so if elephants are getting enough protein, there's pretty good chance that my little body is getting plenty of protein on my diet as well. I'm probably actually eating a lot more protein than elephants. So that usually at least gives people something to think about long enough to where I can kind of back away slowly from that conversation.
I love that. That is the perfect explanation. And it's the same with gorillas, because gorillas are plant-based too, and they're these powerful animals. So if these animals are living and being healthy from plants, hello, so can we.
Right.
So I love the mission of Bake and Destroy, and I know that it is this brand that everybody is drawn to, and you grew it to what it is today. So what are those steps that you took to growing your blog into a cookbook and a brand?
Honestly, it was pretty unintentional. It started out as almost like a a journal for me. I was a new mom, and I was staying at home with my son and tinkering around in the kitchen, and my website really started as a way for me to kind of keep my family updated on what it was like for me, like life at home as a mom, and what my son was up to. And meanwhile, I would throw in, you know, if something I had made that day turned out particularly well, I might share the recipe too. So before I knew it, there were other moms kind of reaching out and saying, I've never, you know, I'm a mom with tattoos. I didn't know that there were others. Or like, I'm a mom who, you know, bakes vegan treats. Or just kind of had people finding me organically at first, and then as I started using more and more forms of social media, that really grew and grew. And photo sharing apps, when I first started, Flickr was really big, but now I find that Instagram is a really great way for me to kind of keep growing my, you know, growing my readership. But it's, you know, I really just try to stay relevant and to stay active, and I don't actually blog as much as I used to. It's between just not really having time and also just kind of noticing the analytics that people are not spending as much time reading blogs, so finding other ways to kind of get things in front of people. So I found that sometimes sharing a recipe in the caption of an Instagram photo can reach a lot more people than blogging it and then trying to make everybody go read your blog. So just kind of like paying attention to how people are consuming the content that I'm creating and being reactive to that, and you know, just trying to share news that they can use, whether it's coming from me or I'm getting it from another source and kind of passing it along. So I think just really trying to maintain like a steady kind of flow of information just kind of helps to keep me, you know, as kind of a, I don't know, like a leader sort of in the space. And so that's how I stay on top of it.
That's a really great idea. I've seen that a lot on Instagram, where users will post a photo of what they're eating, but with the recipe. And I have also seen a lot of people commenting, liking, sharing, and tagging other people. And so it seems to really engage other users.
Yeah, for sure. It's, you know, sometimes they're just too long to do something like that, but if it's a quick salad or a soup, or like especially a smoothie or a juice or something like that, it's really effective to just go ahead and give it away in the caption. And you know, some people are a little bit concerned about not driving that traffic to their site because maybe their revenue stream is coming from ads or something like that. But I think that if you're putting great content out there for, you know, for quote unquote free, so you're not asking people to click through or anything, that when you do kind of have other content where you are pushing them to your site, they've kind of already like built up that trust with you, and they know that you're giving them good stuff. So it's a lot less to ask of people to like click through and go to your site when you are in a good kind of habit of giving them stuff without asking for anything in return.
I love that. And speaking of social media, for women that are in the digital space, so bloggers, media professionals, even entrepreneurs that use social media as a form of digital marketing, how can they share their message with users but still sound authentic?
It's, you know, it's kind of a delicate balance, because the blogger in me says, don't think too much about who's actually consuming the content, and kind of write for yourself, and people will naturally gravitate towards that authenticity. But the content strategy, you know, strategist in me wants to say, don't be totally self-indulgent and keep your reader in mind, which I know are two contradicting statements. So I think the balance is writing for yourself first and foremost. Think to yourself, is this something I would enjoy reading? is this something that I would learn from? Is there something actionable here? If I read this, or if I looked at this picture, or if I saw this tweet, or whatever it is, would there be some value in it for me? And that will help you kind of stay true to your own personal mission. But then you also need to think about, is this, I like to use the word snackable for your reader. Is this something that's going to bring some kind of enjoyment to your reader or your social media followers' day? Will they learn something new? Will they smile? Will they laugh? Will they hit the share button? You know, will they bookmark it for later? So it's a balance. But I think that if you are kind of you know, sticking to your own personal voice, and if, like, however you would say it in your head, like, say it like that, and it'll naturally come across as authentic, because it is authentic.
I've noticed that myself when I'm posting on Facebook or Instagram and I'm trying to write out how I would actually talk. Sometimes I will prolong words to sound like I'm saying girl instead of just hey ladies, and I've gotten a really great positive response from it because people see, you know, a personality through writing. So I think that is awesome advice to give. And to round out the webinar, when you were first starting off in your career, what is one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I wish that I would have gotten friendly with other bloggers kind of sooner than I did. I think a lot of bloggers could attest to the fact that a lot of us like to kind of be behind the screen because, you know, maybe it's a little more difficult for us to, like, make friends in person, or, you know, we have hang-ups, or we have some social awkwardness, and so blogging is great because you can meet all these other, you know, quote unquote, meet all these other people, but you're kind of in the safety of your own home. But a few years, maybe 2 or so years into starting Bake and Destroy, I had another blogger that I was kind of friends with online actually come and visit me in Chicago and stay with me, and it was like a real life experience, and it was kind of scary, and we ended up hitting it off, and we've been such great friends ever since. And she, you know, we see each other back and forth whenever we travel, and I've kind of struck up similar relationships with other bloggers now, and so whenever I'm traveling for work or something like that, I have somebody I can go visit, and it's actually been really great. And so I wish that I would have maybe been more open to really befriending some other bloggers when I was new to the game. But so that's, you know, that's something I would definitely advise, because I think a lot of people do start blogs, or they do kind of conduct their business online because they don't like so much of the actual in-person interactions. But what's nice is that you're going to meet other people who have maybe some of those same hesitations, and that's why they're blogging, and so you can kind of be awkward together and help each other get over that. So yeah, it's something I'm really glad that I ended up doing, and some of my best friends now are bloggers, so it's a great community to be a part of.
I love that, and I think not only can you grow great friendships with people that are in your similar industry, but also great business relationships as well. I know that you know, in the wellness industry, sometimes women that are health coaches and maybe competitors are afraid to befriend other health coaches or other practitioners because of that fear mentality of, well, I don't want to collaborate, or I don't want to connect because you're competition to me. But people don't realize that when you are empowering each other and supporting each other and befriending each other, you're not sharing only just interests as friends, but you can also collaborate and form partnerships. So I think that is an awesome words of wisdom to give for bloggers starting out, and just women in general that are starting out in a new industry. Make friends. It's a great way to connect and to spread the word, not only about your business, but other people's businesses as well. And to cut it short, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody watching, you can see Natalie on our branding panel on September 27th at our second annual Be Healthful Retreat. You will be able to meet her, read her book, learn from her, and all kinds of great information. Natalie, thank you so much again for joining us, and we will see you all soon.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.